The FBI has zeroed in on two suspects, both men wearing baseball caps and carrying rucksacks near the finish line. Surveillance camera footage of the pair have been released, and the authorities want the public's help to find them. But the suspects are considered to be armed and extremely dangerous. At a memorial service for the victims, with 14 survivors still in critical condition, President Obama promised those responsible will be held accountable.
The FBI has released images of the suspects in Monday's Boston Marathon bombing, appealing to the public for help in identifying two men. At a press conference at a Boston hotel, the FBI agent in charge of the investigation, Richard Deslorius, showed pictures of the men carrying black rucksacks and described their actions on the day as captured on film. Video footage of the suspects has also been uploaded onto YouTube by the FBI. Deslorius warned the public not to approach the men considered armed and dangerous.
The men enter the picture walking several meters apart. Investigators say they were walking toward the finish line near the spot where the explosions occurred. Agents say they suspect the man with a white cap placed his backpack on the street where the second explosion took place. The FBI is asking the public for help in identifying the men.
The FBI says the man in the white baseball cap first attracted their attention because he appeared to be placing one of the bombs.
The only one who was observed planting what we believe to be the device is suspect number 2 with a white cap.
What time did they put those devices down, do you believe?
I don't have the precise time in front of me. It was shortly before the bomb blast went off.
Investigators say their attention was first focused on that man with the white hat. Then, as they analyzed more pictures, they realized the two spent some time together. They say they did not see the other man actually planting a bomb.
Somebody out there knows these individuals as friends, neighbors, co-workers, or family members of the suspects. Though it may be difficult, the nation is counting on those with information to come forward and provide it to us.
As for the bombs themselves, investigators now say they believe both were most likely detonated by electronic remote controls. Federal agents have been canvassing hobby stores in the Boston area, asking about recent purchases of remote control devices.
A few hours earlier, President Obama attended a service for the victims of the marathon blasts. In his address, he sought to inspire a stricken city and vowed to hunt down those responsible for the blast.
If they sought to intimidate us, to terrorize us, to shake us from those values that Deval described, the values that make us who we are as Americans, well, it should be pretty clear by now that they picked the wrong city to do it.
At least one of the Boston bombs was made from a pressure cooker packed with explosives, nails and ball bearings. 3 people were killed and more than 170 wounded when the 2 bombs exploded near the finish line of the annual race.
Just been an extraordinary night here, starting at about 10 o'clock last night, changing minute by minute. People who work near the Arsenal Mall in Watertown are being told to stay home. Really, that's just the beginning of it. People who live in the general area, we're talking various towns near Boston, a number of towns are also being told to stay at home. At this moment, police in the Boston suburb of Watertown are searching for a man believed to be suspect number 2 in the Boston Marathon attack. The man who's been shown since last night in the white cap. He is believed to be armed and dangerous. And moments ago, police spoke about the grave nature of this manhunt. And it is grave, the scope of which we are only now beginning to realize as they have shut down transportation in and out of Boston. The MBTA, subways, and buses shut down.
It's remarkable, a remarkable turn of events. We've been covering it all night. Overnight, there was an armed confrontation at around 10:20 between police and 2 suspects, including the man believed to be suspect number 1 in the Boston Marathon terrorist attacks. That man, we do not know his name yet. He has been killed. A short time ago, a doctor at Beth Israel Medical Center announced that suspect had been taken there, and he described the violence he heard while he was still at home before he left for the hospital.
1:10, we were notified by the Boston EMS, by the radio system, that we had a patient that was coming in with multiple injuries. That patient arrived here at 1:20 by Boston EMS, by the P1 crew, who did an exemplary job, but at that point he was in a traumatic arrest with CPR ongoing. We spent about 10-15 minutes trying to resuscitate this patient, with a number of procedures being done that were unsuccessful, and at 1:35 in the morning he was pronounced.
So, my name is Dr. Schoenfeld. Last night, as I was doing some work at home and watching the news coverage of the officer involved shooting over at MIT, I was sitting at home and I was able to hear the sounds of gunshots and explosions because I live in Watertown. And when I started hearing the gunshots and explosions, I recognized that something was really wrong, and called the emergency department to let them know, and then quickly got dressed to come into work and rushed over to the emergency department. Every unit there speeding the 4 or 5 miles west across town to this area. So there's clearly a connection in terms of police activity between that and the shootout that was described here. Now, what happened here, according to a number of eyewitnesses, just half a mile or so to the north of me in the centre of Watertown, was a shootout between 2 men. A lot of gunfire, described by that reporter as something rather akin to what he was used to hearing in Iraq in his tours there, and some explosions, and reports from other eyewitness reports saying that at least one improvised device was being thrown at the police. Didn't cause much damage, but created a lot of smoke. There was a big shootout, and one of the suspects was reported to have been detained, held on the ground, and then put in the car, but the other one is still very much at large.